All right, we're on question number 3. Why is there suffering? Let's start out by acknowledging that suffering is real. We've all experienced it. Disease, divorce, death of a loved one, all the way to the ravages of violence and war. Suffering is a real thing, and we need to figure out why it's there. In the spirituality world and the philosophy world, there are two pretty standard answers out there. And while I think both are true, I also don't think they're enough. First one is there's a difference between pain and suffering. We all know this one. We go to get a vaccination, get that shot in the arm, and we feel a little pinprick. That's the signal of the body telling us that there's something going on. Valuable signal. We need that pain signal to live. What's the suffering part? It's what the mind does with those pain signals. Best example I can think of is take a toddler in to get that same vaccination, and they are screaming bloody murder. And at some point, the doctor finally says, I haven't given you the shot yet. The mind can make the pain 10 times worse. I've actually been known to go into the dentist and have fillings without the Novocaine. And it's because, I know there's a little vibration, a little bit of pain there, but I kind of ignore the rest of it. And it's done then. So pain is a necessary signal. Suffering is the component the mind brings to it. That's answer number 1. The second standard answer is what I'll call the need for contrast. You can't know the beauty without the ugly. I can't experience the beauty of a wonderful golf shot down in the fairway without having known the frustration of having sliced it right into the trees. And that applies to a lot of things. So if I want the beauty of a sunset, there's also the clouds and rain I have to endure to understand the contrast between what feels beautiful, what feels ugly, what feels good, what feels bad. But both of those answers in my mind leave a deeper question unanswered. Why does universal consciousness create a world that can have such brutality? I can experience beauty versus ugliness on the golf course. I can experience many other things that are good versus bad that aren't quite so dramatic. Why have such brutality like we see in war and violence? I saw an Alan Watts video the other day that spoke to this as well. He said, to someone who is awakened, who understands that they are universal consciousness, that the same subject that flows through my eyes flows through your eyes, this doesn't make sense. It feels like to the awakened mind, when they see two people fighting, like their left hand is arguing with their right. Would your right hand argue with your left? No. So why do we have this? I think the way to look at this is to start with the first two questions we've already dealt with. It kind of sets up where we're going. The first question was, why is there something rather than nothing? And it showed us that consciousness, in order to experience itself, needs to expand into the world of form, into space-time. The second question, why are we separate, showed us that if we actually experienced as one mind, all 8 billion of us at once, it would be very overwhelming. And so we need to be separate and have separate experiences that then funnel back into the one consciousness, if you will. That tends toward why we're suffering. Let's remember from question 1, consciousness is just a field of awareness, an active field of awareness experiencing itself. It's not some God on a throne that created the universe in the current form and said all is good. It's just a field of awareness expanding into space-time, and it's learning as it goes. That's the view from inside space-time. What does learning as it goes look like? Think of it as evolution. It's got a whole trial and error process that started with the Big Bang and is continuing on. You end up with life, which with very minimal forms of subjectivity, all the way up to us that can actually look back and go, wait a minute, there's something it's like to be me. What is that? Oh, that's consciousness. But evolution is messy. It's trial and error. It's microorganisms evolving into plants, evolving into animals, and finally into human beings, right? And all those things think they're separate, so they fight with each other, they eat each other. It's a messy process, evolution. And when you splay it out across time, that's what consciousness looks like evolving. Bernardo Kastrup addressed this directly in his analytic idealism philosophy. He sees what he calls mind at large as instinctive and blind to itself. And it wants to become metaconscious, aware of itself. So it dissociates into these almost infinite number of alters. And suffering is the inevitable byproduct of this instinctive mind learning how to finally see what it is. So if you think about it, you are consciousness's way of learning about itself. Every up and down in life, every high and low you go through, teaches consciousness something about itself. All of us collectively are helping consciousness evolve. And so I will leave you with something actually from Eckhart Tolle. He wrote a book called The New Earth, which is about where we are going, how we are heading to consciousness experiencing itself more and more of us becoming awake, and that will lead to a more peaceful world because we will see each other as ourselves and naturally not want to fight with each other. We are heading there. The process of evolution is taking us there. So it won't continue to stay this ugly. It will get better and better over time. So I'll leave you with this thought from Eckhart Tolle. Evolution is the process of the universe awakening through us.